more you listen, the more you know. This is Good Politics with Dr. Wilson and Adam Whiteman.
Let's transition to our topic I think you like. I want to talk about how we're doing on the China thing.
Oh, heck yeah, I love that stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in you guys' ears. But yeah, so what is the news? What's been happening?
Well, let's go to our man on the scene here. We're going to go right out live to this guy by the name of Larry Kudlow. Clip number 33.
The actual specifics of phase one of the trade deal are moving along very well. Positive, constructive, steady talks going on. As you and I are talking right now, those principals are negotiating right now. Liu He, Vice Premier from China, and Mr. Mnuchin and Mr. Lighthizer. I mean, literally, as you and I are talking, they are negotiating. Take a look at the reports or the statements coming out of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, the Chinese Commerce Ministry, Chinese Finance Ministry. They're all positive comments.
So he's looking at things pretty optimistically. It sounds like we're set to actually, make progress on relations with China. Something that Trump originally wasn't so happy about. Huh?
Well, what we have is, we had this phase one, and we said it's not on paper yet. We have to wait till it's getting papered. And what Kudlow is saying is we're in the process of papering it. And there is actually some very interesting things going on in the, or what I'm going to call the papering process. I don't like saying that. It sounds like we're wallpapering. But anyway, what's going on is that we had said this to you. It looked like on the surface, Trump had won phase one. And the reason why we said that is that we didn't really give anything up. The only thing that we supposedly gave up was going to do new tariffs that we'd never even announced yet. Something like, we haven't even announced new tariffs. We were just threatening them. And China said, listen, don't do that. We'll start buying soybeans, And so it looked like this was interesting that you're going to buy soybeans and we won't do anything further to you. So it looked that way. But I argued to you that was just on the surface, that you had to wait and see the details and you had to wait and see what's really going on. And one of the things we suspected does appear to be true. It looks like the December 15th tariffs are going to be taken off because that's what they're talking about. The deal, which may be signed later this month by Trump and the Chinese president, it looks like it's widely expected to include a U.S. pledge to scrap tariffs scheduled for December 15th. That's $156 billion worth of Chinese imports, including cell phones, laptop computers, and toys. Adam, those are the ones where he had announced them in September, but there was so much blowback from the corporate sector that it was going to hurt Christmas that he put them back to December, so that December 15th, so that it wouldn't hurt the Christmas season. So remember, inside his own nest, this Wall Street Journal crowd, they don't like these tariffs. A lot of these companies are making money.
Scaramucci, the hedge fund manager, like, hey, screw this guy.
Yeah. So you've got. It looks like they're going to try to give up that. Now, the other interesting thing is, I think I was wrong on this. I said that they were going to start making those purchase of farm products right away. And apparently that's not true. That is something that they're going to do. Like right now, this second, I'm not sure that they are making that. Let's listen to Kudlow talk about agriculture. Here's the farm products, clip number 32.
Now, the deal on phase one is not yet completed, okay? However, having said that, the agriculture chapter is virtually completed. And by the way, it's not just buying another $40 or $50 billion of farm ags, although that's very important. It also will open up and reduce a lot of barriers and onerous regulations that will allow American farmers, who are the most productive in the world, to export to China.
So we're not there yet. We're not. They're not buying up our farm stuff quite yet.
No, and but the point is, they're papering it, and supposedly he says 40 to 50 billion. He's so funny. I think it's up to that amount. I think I was trying to remember what the figure was. I don't have it in front of me. I think the usual figure that they purchase is about 21 billion. So I think we're talking about that number maybe going to 30, maybe going to 40. I mean, if they double it, that's a lot, but it's only up to. It's not a specific amount. It's up to. So okay. So the point is that hasn't happened yet. They're papering it. They're putting it down on paper. Now, the other thing I want to note is that there's appears to be on the paper some agreement for financial services and currency manipulation Let's go ahead and play clip 31.
Point number 2, the financial services chapter, where American companies will be able to get to 100% ownership, insurance, security firms, investment banks, commercial banks. That chapter is virtually wrapped up. The currency stability and manipulation chapter is virtually wrapped up.
Currency manipulation chapter is virtually wrapped up. So that was because they put it in a promise that, like, okay, we'll think about stopping it.
Well, I actually think that you're raising a very, very interesting point. There's 2 stages, 3 stages. First of all, the parties agree. Okay, they say, okay, let's do this. And then they put it on paper. That's the second stage. So they are virtually wrapping it up in the paper stage where it will be signed. But I have to tell you, the third stage, and I have not heard anything about this, this is what made China walk away, that whether it gets internally codified. You know, whether the nation state passes the law, that's when China walked away last time over the summer, or actually in May. So I haven't heard whether this is just something that's going to be internally codified. You have to watch for that. But nonetheless, Kudlow says financial services. If America has a bank or insurance company or a firm over there, notice it says that the company will be able to get to 100% ownership. I think that I'm not an expert on this. I'm sorry, I don't know the way it works. But I think if you own a company over there, because they're communists, that the communists that they own at least half of the company or something like
51% the government owns, or something.
Whatever it is. So it says there that you will be able to get to 100% ownership. So it's not 100% ownership yet right away for the company. So and that's for the American firms that are over there. And again, there's supposed to be some currency manipulation thing that he says they're virtually wrapping up. The thing to watch for is not whether the thing to watch for is whether they're going to internally codify it. Now, let's talk about the stuff that does not appear to be gotten, or at least seems to be weaselly. This is intellectual property and forced transfer of technology. Let's play clip number 30.
Enormous progress has been made on the intellectual property theft issues. That one's not completed, but there's lots of progress. Forced transfer of technology, there's been some progress, but that will probably slip into phase 2.
He says what is going to slip into phase 2?
Okay, so he says that what's going to slip into phase 2 is forced transfer of technology.
The IP stealing.
Well, there's 2 things. Intellectual property theft is as follows. You want to have a situation where you can copyright something and it belongs to you. And so he says on that, enormous progress has been made, and I think that is going to be included. But there's this other thing that I don't quite understand. I think it has to do that when you invented technology, that you have to turn it over to the state or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But the bottom line is, he says that's being forced into phase 2. The one thing that I want to notice a couple of things on this. I want to notice a couple of things. First of all, I don't see Navarro on television. I forget this guy's first name, but his last name is Navarro. He's a trade guy. He's a China hawk. And the fact that I don't see him on television, being happy about this agreement, I think says a lot of interesting. The other thing to watch for is there are other China hawks like Bannon and this guy named Kramer. And I'm going to be interesting to see what they think about this. The question is whether the China hawks are happy with this or not. I told you there was this split. This is another split in the Trump campaign, the Trump people. You have these China hawks and you have these free market people. The free market people, the Wall Street Journal crowd, they want to kiss and make up and get an agreement here so they can make money. So
what about the China hawks? What do you mean by China hawks?
The China hawks are the people that want to decouple. They want to say, look, quit with this. Get these companies out of there. Don't do anything with this country.
They were with Trump when he was just trying to pull out all of our companies out.
The question is whether this is about getting China to abide by modern capitalism because they're a big boy player now. If you're going to want to become a rival, let's play big boy capitalism. That means you have to abide by the rules of capitalism. And that's what some people think was the objective. But the China hawks didn't see it that way. The China hawks saw China as a rival, a threat to us, and they wanted to decouple. They didn't want to help their GDP. They don't want to trade with them. They don't want the companies over there. They want to go and rebuild the supply chain. They want to put the companies in Vietnam, put the companies anywhere where people aren't pointing missiles at us and so forth. So the China hawks have a different agenda, I would argue to you, than do these the Wall Street Journal people. Let me do one last thing. Let's not forget this. It's not just the December 15th tariffs that China wants off. They're also trying to get all of these other tariffs off. They're trying to get the this is actually interesting. China wants Trump to remove all the tariffs. And I have to tell you something. I believe that is evidence that the tariff worked. You have tariff caused us pain. But the conventional wisdom was, oh, Trump was stupid to do these tariffs. I have to tell you, I think it looks to me like the instrumentality of the tariff is what brought China to the table, and it is resulting in some benefit. And you can argue who's winning and whether you should have done it this way. People argue that Trump, did it the wrong way. He should have got the allies together and walked the tariffs up in less abrupt fashion. Trump just announces on Twitter he's going to tariff someone, and boom, he comes out like he's.
Then they're back. They're back at the table. They really want the December 15th tariffs off.
Well, yeah. So I think the bottom line here is the tariff as an instrumentality did work, but whether inside the Trump administration, the Wall Street Journal people went out or the China hawks went out has yet to be determined. My sense is that this is heading in the direction of the business class who want to get a good commercial agreement going, and then maybe some of these China hawks may not be so happy. But I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see how that works.
All right, terrific. And until next week.
And I guess until next week.
Your only source for truly balanced politics. Broadcast from Wright State University, this is Good Politics with Dr. Shawn Wilson and Adam Whiteman.